Hi everyone, I have been asked to do a particular page. My friend Mary has asked me if I can do this page as a tutorial, so I am going to. And I'm going to use my Polychromos pencils because those are the pencils that she has, so she'll be using those. She said it's a rather overwhelming picture for her, so she wanted me to have a go. Now, as you can see, this is from Maria Trolle's Universe. It's also from her Flora book. So if you've got Flora or Universe, you can follow along or just have a watch and hopefully enjoy it. I'm just having to put my pencils on top of my book to give myself a little more room and come in a little more closely for a minute and have a think. Now, what we've got in the picture is we've got lots of flowers. And we've got little girl here. We've got details on different things. Now, the thing in the picture for me that I find the most overwhelming is the actual teapot, because it's a lot of blank space. I'm actually going to deal with that one first and get it done with. And that will sort of help me not only get rid of a bit that's daunting, which I think I would enjoy once I start. Well, I know I will. But also sort of start to help me think about what other colours to use. Now, as it's sort of autumn, I'm thinking we might go for slightly autumnal colours. So for me, that means the teapot might need to match. So I might naturally do a teapot blue. I've got 3 blue teapots, so that's sort of where I go. But I'm thinking maybe we shouldn't do it blue. Let's do it a different colour, just to make it, you know, I don't think blue really matches any sort of autumnal type theme. So I'm thinking what colours would work for an autumnal scheme. We've got brown. Now there are those little old-fashioned brown teapots, so I'm thinking maybe that would work, a really dark brown. That's one option, but would it look a bit dull? And we've got the wooden doors as well. We could do it a green and just use a different green for the teapot as we do for the leaves, or we could do the leaves in more autumnal tones like oranges and browns. We could do the teapot red, which I wasn't going to do red leaves, so I think that's going to be my way forward, is red. Me talking you through that wasn't a thought process I had before I started. That was my current thought process. What shall I do? So that's why I'm going to do red. So Polychromos reds, we've got quite a nice range. I want a more orangey red. I'm actually going to start with the pale geranium lake though. Mine's very small. And I'm just going to colour the whole thing in a very light layer of pale geranium lake. Now keep this light. I know some people tend to press quite hard, and it's something that can be quite difficult to change. But I just want a layer, a light layer, and I don't want to, I'm going to put darker colours on top. So this is just going to go there so that I can see where all the teapot is. Helps me to think, because sometimes with so many little details, not just with the flowers and things around the edge, but we've got the doors and windows and things, it gets my brain a bit confused. I don't know where I'm at. So if I can just colour in the red bits to start with, then I can sort of sort myself out. Now we do have a ladybird here, which I've just coloured out the line. Never mind. And we have a ladybird there, which I would naturally do red. So I'm going to think about that later. But I could do it red still. But I could, you know, ladybirds come in a sort of bright yellow as well. So we could do it that colour. I just decide later. But that's what I mean. I do this big area first, and then it helps me to decide what I'm doing with the rest. Now I have to say I find big areas really quite daunting. And if you prefer a softer pencil for a bigger area, by all means grab a Prisma or something softer on an Artex pencil, even a Derwent, something like that, and do it. Obviously you won't get exactly the same colour. With Derwents, I've been thinking of the Derwent drawing pencils or the Luminance. They don't really have a very good range of reds. The Chromaflow do, but I think they would be on a par with these with regards to softness. Anyway, I'm wittering. If there's a soft pencil that you like, that you prefer for backgrounds, just grab it. And of course you don't even have to do the same colour as me. It's completely up to you. So that's that. So while I'm just colouring away, I'm just trying to keep an eye on my messages. We had all sorts of train trouble this morning again. My first boy left. Look, we've got a bit of a line missing here, can you see? So I'm just going to mark that in. My first boy left, and his train, I said, oh, your train's a bit late, you'll be all right. By the time he got to the station, his train was like 20 odd minutes late. Was that, oh, you'll still have time, it'll be fine. Then his brother left, and his train was 4 or 5 minutes late. By the time his brother decided to get the other train, the earlier train that the first boy was supposed to be getting, because his train was late, so he did that. And then but it had decided it wasn't actually calling at all the stops, so it wasn't going to stop at the place my other boy was going, so he had to wait for his brother's train. So they actually took each other's trains, but the one train was running so late that it arrives too late anyway for him, which is why he doesn't get the same train as his brother. So he's going to be late again. Last Thursday he was late too, so I guess he's already gone through that. Walking in the classroom, everyone looks round, stares at you. In the break has to go and talk to the tutor and say, can I sign in, it's late, that sort of thing. Eek. But anyway, he's done it before. He's got a good reason, and he's not going to be that late. He's just probably, I would guess, sort of 10-15 minutes. So and a 3-hour class, that isn't really that late. He said last week he was late, and someone actually came in 2 hours late and then asked if he could still be signed in, and the tutor was like, well, not really. He nearly missed the whole lesson, but he'd be okay. So we had all that excitement this morning, which is like, oh, could do without that. And my husband came home from work last night really stressed, and he was like, I was thinking of quitting, and I was like, oh, you know what, if you quit, it would just make my life so much easier. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, you could take the kids to uni, I wouldn't have to worry about the trains. Like, you could do all my household chores, so I could just get on with my videos. He's like, how would you feel about being the main breadwinner? I was like, I've never been that. I've never earned enough money to do that. So I don't think I could, you know, support everyone. I've never even been able to earn enough. I've never ever in my whole life earned enough money to pay all the bills in the house that I was living in. So that's it's sort of way out of my comfort zone to be able to earn that much money. Even when I was sort of working full time, I was not earning enough. So yeah, it's an interesting one. But he was like, anyway, he was a bit better in the end. He'd had a think and talk about it. Right. He was trying to actually think about the things that he enjoyed, which was very much better. I'm going to go for a much darker red now. Well, I say much darker red. This is called the deep scarlet red. It doesn't look hugely darker, but I'm going to layer it up a bit more as well. So we're going to start to see some shape in our... oh, I haven't done the spout. Are you all shouting at me? Spout, you haven't done the spout. Hang on. I just got to wipe my nose and then I will do the spout. Oops. Now we have this steam coming out. That's fascinating. I'm sure. Is it like it's working as a chimney, do you think? Is that how you're interpreting it? Sort of how I'm interpreting it. Oh, just got some post. I'm going to go and have a look. Hold on. Right, had to go and open the post. It was not, well, I had 6 pieces of post, which is quite amazing. I didn't have any yesterday though. I had a takeaway leaflet for Domino's. I had an advert for someone who provides administration services. I had an advert for someone who cleans your patio. And that was all the junk. And then I had 3 letters. One for my son, which I think was a bank statement. And then two for me, which were my mum's lasting power of attorneys, one for her health and welfare and one for her what do you call it, finance. I'm just trying to find my pencil sharpener. Here it is. So yes, I'm now skipping to the other colour that I said I was going to be doing. Sorry. This is the deep scarlet red. Oh, I've just put a new blade in, it's very sharp. I'm going to continue with the spout, and I'm thinking it's going to be darker at the bottom because it'd be more shadowed. But I also like to create the sense of shape from making it darker along the edge, and a nice sharp pencil we can get in between all these little florals. To be a bit patient and no need to rush. I'm talking to myself. I do tend to rush. I tend to rush life, you know. So I'm going to do a little darker bit here. And then I want this bit to be lighter, so I'm just gently going to take this colour along and leave a bit where it's still the lighter colour. Can you see there's a little shine line? That's what I'm looking for. We won't get any on this bit because the flower is in the way. Yeah, I tend to rush through life. In some circumstances it is very, very useful being fast. So when you're trying to make your son a lunchbox when he's decided he needs one and he's about to leave in 2 minutes time, it's very useful being able to whip up a cheese roll and some salad in about 2 seconds flat. It's very, very useful. And when you're cleaning, and you can just quickly whiz around with a duster vacuum and clean bathrooms in very quickly. It's really useful, and it's something that my sister has as well. I think we get it from my mum. Very quick. But it does mean that you're not so chilled because you're rushing. I've got to do this quickly, you know. And so sometimes I think, and when I'm colouring, I want to get everything done quickly. I want to finish. I want to move on to the next thing. Blah, 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 you know, and trying to slow myself down a little bit and just, it's, excuse me. It's not that I don't enjoy it. I am enjoying myself. You can hopefully see this line. I try to make it about the same distance from here all the way through. But yeah, I just feel that sometimes I just need to slow down. But it's also very useful. When I used to be a freelance writer, which is what I think I would have to go back to doing if I needed to earn a bit more money. When I was doing that, I could whip out 10,000 words in an hour. No, 1,000 words in an hour. Let's get that right. 10,000 words in an hour. Wow, that's a bit quick. Now I don't really know. This bit here is very daunting. So I'm going to do the lid. And my shine line for this bit is going to be down the middle. You don't have to always do your shine down the middle, but for me it's easier. So that's why I do it. Yeah, so writing 1,000 words an hour is pretty quick. And this is unresearched work. If someone says write about, I don't know, how to find a good credit card, I can do that really quickly. Finance is my thing, so I could just, personal finance, I can just you know, whip that up really quickly. But when you're only paid a cent a word, you're earning $10 an hour. It's not you know, it's not loads, and sort of limited. Like if I write books, which I also do or have done in the past, you put them up on Amazon as an ebook for sale, and you can sell unlimited copies of that book, you know. So in a sense, you've got an unlimited income from them. Whereas if you do a piece of freelance writing for someone at a fixed fee, then once you've done it, that's it. You've only earned once. And obviously that's what most jobs are. You just get paid per hour and that's it. But it's nice to try and find work where you keep being paid. Do you know what I mean? For the content that you've produced. And that's, you can do that with YouTube. People watch it, you know, if people go back and watch it again later and watch the adverts, then you get paid. If you have your ad blocker on, or skip the ads, then no, YouTubers don't get paid. But that's okay, because some people, you know, I sort of get affiliate money too from the if you follow the links in the description to buy anything, I get a bit from that as well, and my members help me out a lot too. So we've got our shine down here. Now next, the handle. That's going to be similar to the spout. So I'm just thinking, where is the shine's going to be more on the top. I'm not sure about around here. I'm going to start on the top because I sort of think there'd be a bit of shadow here where it's next to the main body. And then this would be the darkest bit here, I'm thinking. And then what I'm thinking and sort of pondering is that the shine would probably be in the middle of here, but at the top of here. That could be a bit complicated, so if we keep it in the same place, let's just do a darker bit all the way around this side. Yes, so it's a balance, isn't it? Going back to rushing, you know, like I don't walk as fast as I used to, but you know, walking fast, that's good for your health. But it's not good for your relaxation if you're rushing along. You know, I do try and look at and enjoy my walks, look at the surroundings. You know, if I'm going to take my lighter bit to the top there. If I'm walking along the canal, to just enjoy the leaves, the trees, the wildlife, all that. If I'm walking along the street, I look in the windows and the gardens and things like that. I'm really lucky where I live. It's quite pretty and I do appreciate it a lot. I had talked to my husband the other day actually about moving, so we're a bit closer to the university, so we don't have to worry about trains all the time. But he was like, but we live in such a lovely place, why would we want to move? I was like, and I sort of thought, it'd be fine. And then I was sort of thinking, I was walking along the canal, river one side, canal the other, gull flying overhead, little wrens and things, thinking, yeah, got a point, you know, we don't get that in other places. So there's my handle. I think I'm happy with the shine there. So I've just kept it going all the way around. It just felt the logical way as I did it. Now for this one, I still want it down here. It's quite daunting. This bit's quite big. There's a lot going on with all these little bits and pieces as well. Keep my pencil sharp. It helps me. I should have done that on my initial bit too. So this is our darkest bit. I think I'll just go up to this window. And then I want less as I go through. Just getting distracted, checking my messages. I've just got my... It makes me less distracted, to be honest. It makes me rush less because I've got my phone here so I can see if my boys get in touch. Hopefully my boy's got to his class okay, but he won't have messaged me because he's got to sit down and get on, you know. The other boy, I had to tell him off because my husband was... he didn't message me at all, and I knew he was sort of due to leave uni, but I wasn't sure exactly which train he was going to get, and he didn't tell me. And then my husband was like, does he need picking up? I was like, I don't know. And then he was like, does he need picking up? Maybe he wants picking up from the station. I was like, I don't know. And I phoned him and he didn't answer his phone. I was like, oh, I mean, just very typical teenager, isn't it? So I don't know. So in the end, my husband went to the station and waited for him and phoned me and went, do you know anything? I was like, he's here, he's home. It was a big communication error. Husband didn't mind. He passed us the station on his way home anyway. He said a train came in and he thought he was getting off it and he wasn't. So he was like, then where is he? Has he forgotten to get off? But no, they've never done that, luckily. It is something I worry about because it has happened. When they first started secondary school, one of them stayed for an after-school club and didn't tell me he was going to do it, didn't have a mobile phone with him or anything, just decided to stay for this club and got the public bus home. from the club. It was a basketball club or something. And so I had no idea. So I phoned the school and said, have you got him? And they went, no idea. I can't leave reception to go and check. I'll phone the PE department, but if they're taking a class, they won't answer the phone. So there was no answer. So I had absolutely no idea where he was. It was the middle of winter. It was pitch black. I was like, oh. And so I thought, I said to my other boy, look, I'm going to go up to the bus stop to meet him off the bus and hope that that's the bus he's on. Because I knew what sort of time the club was due to end. So I went up to the bus stop, and it was very, very lucky that I did, because it was actually the first time I'd left my other boy alone as well, but I was only just up the road. And the bus pulled in and he was sat on the bus and he didn't get up to get off. And I had to knock on the window and wave at him to tell him he needed to get off the bus. He hadn't even noticed he was at the right stop. He was so tired that he just completely zoned out and wasn't even looking where he was. And because it was dark, he hadn't really noticed. So that sort of experience, it plays on your mind. You know, you're thinking, is my boy gonna get off? But with the trains, because they announce the stop, it's quite easy. You know, he's also a lot older, and so, but with the bus they don't, so you have to be alert. The buses are better now than they were then. They tend to have sort of scrolling displays telling you what stop you're at, so you can look at it. As long as you know the name of the stop that you need to get on or off at, then you can see it on the display. It's all a bit messy down here. I'm trying to decide what to do. Make it a bit dark on the edge like I have been. I think that bit there should be red, and that bit as well. Yeah, it's all a bit small and messy. What I'm going to do is make these flowers quite dark so I can colour over that red, and you won't notice that I've gone over the line so badly. So I'm just layering up the colour a little bit and hoping that it will look reasonably neat and that I can get a reasonable graduation of colour from the edge to the centre. Now, if you're not comfortable with doing this dark to light bit, there's a completely different thing that you can do. Block the whole thing in with an even layer of colour. You can even use a pen. What some people do is use a water based marker. I don't know what this paper's like though. I test it in the back first, and then just get your darker pencil and put a little bit of shadow in a few places. Get a white pen and draw some shine, like it's a really highly shiny china, and you don't necessarily need to put in so much shadowing. That's a different approach if this looks a bit too complicated for you. I'm just going to resharpen my pencil. Just get around some of these details where it's messy. So I'm just going to start on this right hand side and just go around all these little bits. I feel like I need my magnifying glasses on really, but I'll manage. At least it's quite low down, it's closest to my eyes. Just do all the little bits around the edge where it's not very neat or it's not right up to the edge. That's what I'm doing. You may have made yours nice and neat to start with. Again, as I said, I was probably rushing, and so it's a bit messy. And we'll go under there. Now I'm being careful to try not to put in, like when I went that way, I don't really want a line to show that way, so I'm being a bit careful. And then around our bug a little bit. Ladybird, I think. Did you call them ladybugs, America? I think you do. Also, do you call it America, or do you call it the US or USA, or does it matter? It's not as confusing as us. I know we've got, like, I live in England, which is also part of Great Britain. which is also part of the UK. How confusing is that? I think a lot of people get really muddled. So basically, the island I live on is Great Britain, and it has England, Wales and Scotland in it. So that's Great Britain. But the United Kingdom also includes Northern Ireland, which is of the separate island, half of the island on the left-hand side of the country. The other half, the bottom half of the island, is Eyre, or Southern Ireland, or Ireland, and that they're sort of independent. They're their own country. So, and Ireland is part of the EU, and the UK now isn't. And just putting a little bit of extra at the bottom, I think there'd be a bit more shadow down here. Right, now I'm just going to neaten up this central part. Here it's quite vague, so I'm just going to try and make sure it looks significantly darker on this edge. And yeah, so yeah, it's quite confusing. And I used to live in Scotland for a year, and my aunt, who lived in America, used to send me letters, and she used to write to me, and she would put Glasgow, which was the city I lived in, and then she put England. And of course Scotland is not England, but they always reached me. That looks very messy, doesn't it? But I suspect some of the Scottish postmen got quite cross because they don't like being called England, you know. But anyway, it was so kind of her. She used to write to me. I think being away from home as a student, it was really nice getting letters. It feels a bit old-fashioned these days, but I still write to my nieces, send them little things, because they're away at uni. I mean, they're really close to me. They're like in the next, they're in the town, same town one of my sons goes to uni. But it's just nice, I think, for them to have a little something through the post. I don't know, maybe teenagers don't get the same excited feeling by getting post that we used to because they're not so used to it, I don't know. But getting a letter, it used to be so exciting. I remember at Christmas, the same aunt that used to write to me, she always used to send us a little something. I think it was around Thanksgiving, because although she didn't live in America at the time, she is married to an American, and she would send a little prezi, and it was like, it would be, I remember getting a little wooden postcard with a gingerbread man on, or a brooch, Christmas brooch, some Christmas earrings, that sort of thing. A little something in the post, you know, just nice. Right, I am happy with that. We've got our shine going down here, we've got darker edges. I'm just going to leave it there. However, I say that, but I'm not. I'm going to do some shadowing. I'm going to grab the middle cadmium red, which is even darker, and put in just a few extra shadows here and there where I think there'd be real shades. I'm going to start at the top, and I'm thinking under this rim here of this lid, I'm just going to put the tiniest bit there, and then I think there'd be shadow under here, like that. I think Amazon sort of plays on a lot of our desire to get to have post and our enjoyment of post, you know, the sort of whole getting parcels and things. Even if you order them yourself, there's still that excitement about receiving something, which is nice. My husband got a book the other day. In fact, I asked for one. I put one on my wish list for Christmas. Excuse me. My husband said he's got it as an ebook, but I'm not sure if I want to read his ebook or if I want a proper copy. It's more stuff, which I'm sort of trying to get rid of stuff. you know, we have a bit too much stuff in our house. I'm going to put some shadows under the various items. All we need to do in there, I think that would be quite dark. I'm just putting an outline around these little bits. It's quite fiddly, it's quite small. You might need to get a bit closer to see what you're doing. A nice sharp pencil, and it's not essential. If you can't, if you're a bit worried that you can't see, then don't worry. I just think it's quite nice. Yeah, so I was saying to him, you know, we're getting too much stuff. And then a parcel arrived that day, and I was like, but it was from his work. It was this sort of Christmas present from work. They sent him a desk planner thing, pad, you know, and an apron, I think it was. Anyway, so he had that, but he got the book came through the other day, and he said, "This is my Christmas present," and gave me to put it away. But yeah, I'm thinking, do I use the ebook that he's already paid for? But it's a book, it's a sort of daily book, so you read a page a day, you know, and I don't know if I would keep it up with an ebook. I don't think I would necessarily remember. I'm reading an ebook at the moment, and I keep forgetting I'm in the middle of reading it. It sounds a bit weird, but because it's not like on my bedside table, like with the bookmark in, I sort of forget. So I don't know. I'm just pondering the time it takes him to come up with his list or item that he wants. I'll ponder. But yeah, it just then means we have more stuff. But he did have a book he brought me. It was the book was called The Daily Stoic or something like that. And he said, I've got the journal. He said we could write the journal together. I was like, and I had a quick flick through the journal. I was like, I don't really understand it. I need to read the book first. Now I'm thinking, is this door frame piece going to be red? I think it would be. Oh, trying to be neat and not succeeding. So I'm not sure. So a bit of a dilemma. I get people saying, well, you shouldn't, just because he's got lots of stuff shouldn't mean that you deprive yourself of stuff. And it's like, yeah, but it's really hard, because I can't be a hypocrite, can I? And accumulate stuff. I've got like quite a bit of art stuff. So that's taking up a lot of space. So I don't know. It's tricky. And I sort of think, well, you know, the boys aren't going to be living at home forever, I don't think. And so there'll be room, they'll take their stuff, and then we'll have more space. So that will help eventually. So maybe I just have to hold on for a bit longer. But I don't want to think about them moving out, it's too sad. I know it's going to happen. Like my sister was saying, well, what's your ideal Christmas the other day? And I said, oh, just the four of us waking up and, you know, together and having nice special breakfast together and that sort of thing. She was like, just the four of you? And I was like, yeah, but I know it's unrealistic. It's not gonna be something that will always be possible. So I just enjoy it while I can. Right, I think I am happy, but I'm just going to deal with this door frame. Now I don't know about this door frame and the insides of the windows. I think I'm going to go for that lighter. Remember we started with the pale geranium lake? I think I'm going to use that. But you know, a little bit more firmly. Actually looks darker, doesn't it? It's interesting. Now the steps, I could also do those in red, or I could do them more in like grey, as if they're like concrete. have a think. I'm going to do the insides of the windows. These bits I'm thinking are part of the teapot, so I think they'd be red. And I think I'd do let's do this one. Yeah, I think I'll leave that one up there because it looks flat. Not because this one's like an arch, you can see, because of the way it joins the steps. There we go. I'm just going to get my slightly darker one, the deep scarlet red, and just put a bit darker at the top and the edges. Oh, my tablet was going to sleep then. There. Okay, let's do the frames. I'm thinking a really dark brown for the door frames. What have we got? We've got a walnut. Yeah, there it is, the walnut brown. Because I want the doors to be a little bit lighter, so I want the frames to sort of frame them. Sorry, I just got to blow my nose again. Whoop, pencils are rolling away. Oh, sorry. Right, so I'm thinking this window frame, I'm just going to go around it. Oops. Well, that's the end of that sharp lead, isn't it? I know that's why some people don't sharpen theirs really sharp. But it's a new blade, so it's extra sharp. So I'm just doing it, so although it, yeah, it's quite solid, isn't it? I think if it'd been a bit thicker, I might have done a bit more texture on it. Now the cross in the window, I'm thinking that's might be black. Maybe could it be leading like it was. Not sure. Still thinking it all through, bit by bit, little bit by little bit. This is part of the thing about part of how I approach it, I think, trying to do it step by step, and then it's less daunting. I'm going to grab the raw umber now, and I'm going to do the wood. So we have two doors. I start up here. Now I want this to be quite a solid colour, and then I'm going to do some of the lines and dots that are drawn. There are lines and dots drawn on here anyway for us to give us some texture, but I'm going to add a few more. But the little balcony here I'm going to do with a different colour, brown, still wood, so that it doesn't just blend in and disappear. Now we've got our hinges there, so we need to colour around those. There we go, and then the shutters I'm going to do in the same colour. There's some knocking next door. Someone's having some work done in one of the flats next door. I'm not sure. I know the guy in the middle flat said he had water coming through his flat. It's coming through the ceiling from the flat above. He's also got a leaky cistern on one of his loos. I don't know whether he's had that fixed or not. But I don't know, it could be someone else. There's no one in the top flat as far as I'm aware at the moment. It's someone has bought it, it's not a rental, but he isn't. Whoops, I've just gone over the edge of their window frame there. But he isn't often there. I don't think he would have work done without him being there, and he usually does it himself anyway. I Don't think I've ever seen him have a workman in, to be honest. Right. There's the doors. Now I'm going to grab a darker brown. I might just use this walnut brown that we had before and just start putting a few lines. Now I'm not necessarily going to go over the ones that I've drawn in. I'm going to add in a few more of my own. Like that. With the shutters, I'm just going to go across. You could follow the lines that are drawn on there, but it's too intricate for me. I'm just going to put a few rough lines in. There we go. Now I'm going to do a little bit of metal work. I'm going to use my cold grey 4 and do the door handles. I'm going to block them in though, not try and make them look shiny because they're so small. And, oops, where are we at? This door handle and hinges. And we've got this light. Now I could do a little bit more with the light. I could make a little bit of a shine in the middle there. And here, like that. There we go. Right, now the balcony I'm going to do in the nougat. It's a sort of more grey brown colour. I think it'll work better. I need to give it a good sharpen. And get some very pretty foxgloves to do. So you can see how this still stands out because it's a different shape. This lead is really wobbly. I'm just block colouring all of it in, and then I'll decide if I want to put in a few darker areas. I'm wondering if I should have done the bits of window, you know, the crosses in that silvery grey. I think I might do that. Oh, don't break on me, pencil. Just finish this. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to grab the cold grey 4 and do these. Now I'm feeling very much less daunted by this page. We're getting to the end of this, the bit that scared me the most. It might be that this bit for you was the easiest because it's the largest bit, and it's actually all the little teeny tiny flowers that are daunting for you, or it might not be daunting at all, of course. But hopefully it's helping. Now I am going to get a darker brown. I'm going to grab the burnt umber and do a few little bits on our balcony railings. I'm just thinking that this bit under here might be a bit darker, and this bit under here, and then where they meet I'm just putting a bit of shadow. It's not much, it's just a little detail. You don't have to do it if you think it's too fiddly. Don't worry about it. A little bit there. Just right, there we go. So inside our windows we want nice bright light colour. This is 108. I don't know what it is. The name has been sharpened off. Hold on a minute. Dark cadmium yellow. So nice and bright. Very welcoming. Also autumnal, I think. Having your lights on is, you know, it's starting to get dark. So we have our lights on wall, but also this sort of shade of yellow. It's almost orangey. It's rather nice and bright. Oops. And this will probably be our last little bit, although we've got our steps to do. We'll do those. Now the lamp, I'm going to do that. And then the bulb bit perhaps should be even darker, I don't know, or maybe lighter. I think I'm going to do the bulb in this one. Oops. This is 106, which is light chrome yellow. There we go. Let's just do these steps. Now I'm thinking maybe a warm grey fall. It's a slightly browner colour. And I'm just going to do them quite roughly. The same colour. To start with, showing up a corner of the door that I missed. I'm just going to do that. You probably won't have to do that. There we go. So now I'm thinking, I feel that there'd be a tiny bit of shadow along the bottom of the door. And on each edge. And then there'd be a bit of shadow along here. And maybe a tiny bit along the edge of that step. And then some shadow on this one. It's always quite tricky to work out how to colour steps, but I think that looks right. So there is our teapot. I'm happy with that. I'm going to stop now because it's been really long actually just doing that bit, and we can come back tomorrow and do some of the details of the actual flowers and different things like that. But there is that part done, so I hope that was okay. I hope you have a really super day. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much and happy colouring.